This is your final review, numbers 26 through 31. For 26, we're finding the missing value to the nearest hundredth. They have an X over your missing value. Actually, not an X, it's just a black box. But pretend like it is an X. Let's say we have the tangent of X equals 65. We still need to get X by itself, so we have to undo tangent. To do this, we have to do the inverse tangent. Remember, that's the one with the little -1. So you're going to do X equals the inverse tangent of 65, and that's what you're going to type into your calculator. Remember to type it in. You're going to do second tan, type in 65, and your answer is 89.11, which if I round it is just 89.1. Oh, sorry, they round to the nearest hundredth, so actually it's 89.118. So if I round it, it's 89.12, which would be D. 27, we're doing the same thing. Remember, we have the cosine of X equals 2 over 5. We need to undo our cosine. To do that, we're going to do the inverse. So we have X equals cos -1 of 2 over 5. We're going to type that into our calculator. Second cos, 2 divided by 5. And when I do that, I get 66.421, which is just the same as 66.42. So B will be our answer. 28, we need to find the value of X. This one, we're back to our SOHCAHTOA stuff. They don't have it set up for us, so we need to use sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. We're going to use one of those. We're going to start by looking at our angle, and what's across from it is the blank one. So that would be our O. The one next to it's adjacent, and the one across from my right angle is my hypotenuse. I have something on A and H, so I'm going to use cosine. So I know the cosine of my angle, X, equals adjacent, which is 11, over hypotenuse, which is 20. So all I did was use this, and I plugged in all my numbers. Again, we're trying to find X, so to get rid of cosine, we're going to do the inverse cosine. So we have X equals cos -1 of 11 over 20. We're going to go ahead and type that into a calculator. When I do that, I get 56.63. It looks like they want us to round to the nearest degree, so we don't need this one. So since this is a 6, I'm going to round up to 57. And B should be your answer. 29, we're doing the same thing. Remember, we use SOHCAHTOA, so we have S is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. We are going to go ahead and label our triangle. X is here, it's our angle. Across from it, we have our opposite. Next to it, we have our adjacent. And across from our right angle is our hypotenuse. So I notice we have OA, so we're going to use sine. We're going to do the sine of our angle, which is X, equals the opposite, which is O, 12, over hypotenuse, which is 15. So we have the sine of X equals 12 over 15. We need to get rid of sine, so we're going to do the inverse sine. So you have X equals sine -1 of 12 over 15. And we're going to type that into a calculator. When you do that, you get 53.1. Round that to the nearest degree, you get 53. So your answer should be A. Number 5, we're doing the same thing. Replace your box with an X. So we have the sine of X equals 5 over 19. We need to get X by itself, so we're going to undo our sign. And we're going to say X equals sine -1 of 5 over 19. So type that in your calculator, second sine of 5 over 19. When I do that, I get 15.257. We have a 7 here, so we're going to round up to 15.26, which would be D. And the last one of this video, find the value of x. Again, we gotta highlight our angle. We're gonna use SOHCAHTOA, so I'm gonna write that down quick. S is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. We have this angle here, and across from it is our opposite, which is going to be 16. Our adjacent is going to be 7, and the last one's our hypotenuse. I notice we have opposite and adjacent, so we are going to use tangent. So I'm going to do the tangent of my angle, which is x, equals the opposite, 16, over the adjacent, 7. We need to undo our tangent, so we're going to have x equals tan -1 of 16 over 7. We're just going to go ahead and type that into our calculator. And when I do that, I get 66.37, 66.3, which will be the same as 66 when I round. So my answer should be B.